So hello everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today to my channel. So as the title suggested, I'm doing a garage door repair and I'm going to walk you guys through all of the pitfalls, the ups and downs of what I experienced. I learned so much during this experience repairing my garage door, actually replacing the garage door panels and um, going ahead and updating my or changing out the garage motor or the contraption or whatever you call that thing that lifts the door. I am no professional at this, but tag along and you'll see what I learned. So what brought this about was the garage door needed to be replaced. I can remember one evening my husband had an issue with it and he never did get around to repairing it because of his work, and the door sat unusable for quite some time, and I just got so upset that he would have to get all of his tools or things that he needed for a job. He would have to go through the house to get some of those things. And so I just took it upon myself and started gathering some information. I took pictures of things that I needed. I measured the space, the width of the panels. I took pictures of the hardware, the locking contraption, to see if I had to keep those pieces or not. And when all was said and done, the company that I went with to help with this installation explained that I could use my hardware, I could use these different things that were already in place. I didn't have to change any of those things out. So it was quite an experience, but I felt very confident to tackle the job, and I felt very safe. As you'll see that I put a lot of attention to detail in doing this. Something I wanted to do was get rid of this loud chain style mechanism that lifts the door, and you'll see that as well. So the company that I decided to work with was open on Saturdays, and the day that I did go out there, we had such a time trying to load the garage panels because they were 16 feet long. Myself and the young man that worked at this store, we were able to ratchet down the panels onto my trailer, my utility trailer. I protected the panels by using some drop cloths that I had in my truck bed, and we were able to secure these and get them back to my home safely. Now, the garage was a mess because somebody would have had to clean out all this stuff and make a safe place for me to work in, right? Well, guess what? That person ended up being yours truly, because my husband, he really didn't want to tackle it because it was such a huge undertaking to do. You know, when you look at it, it's not just replacing or repairing. You know, you have to make a safe space. And between my woodworking and his construction business, we have amassed a lot of tools, and we have supplies that are on hand to use for jobs and what have you. So I'm just showing you that there is more to just replacing and repairing. So when I thought about that, I knew that if I were to source this job out, whoever would do it would require me to do this anyway. So I was like, you know what, why not just take the next step? Learn how to replace the mechanisms, learn about repairing your garage door, and get the knowledge on how to update these things. So this way you have it moving forward. This video is not going to include me taking this thing down, the LiftMaster down, but I did complete that. I think maybe like several days later, I went ahead and changed out the garage door, the lifting mechanism, the motor itself, and we went with a Chamberlain. I will share with you which model at the end of the video, but alright, so the next thing that I needed to do was gather some tools that I'll need. So I have some, I'm not sure what you call these, but I think crescent wrench, possibly. I'm not sure. But I also got a file, some wrenches, different sizes. Also a couple of vice grips and a pencil to mark with. These important pieces that I picked up from the Parts for Garage Doors store, I'll definitely link their information in the description box below. Replacing these because those are the ones that my husband snapped, and a bag of these that's going to be replaced on the new door as well. And I bought these just in case. I'm not sure if my if these ones are damaged on mine or not, but I am replacing those as well. And this is the lock that the young man suggested over at Parts for Garage Doors. And I just have some WD-40 just to spray on everything when I'm done. So, and that's my tools and my supplies immediately that I'll need. Oh, these tools are to release the tension bar. So that way you don't hurt yourself. I didn't have these, and I'm glad that I have these now, because this most dangerous area right here, if you don't have these, do not even attempt. And I messed around and put my ladder, my 3-step ladder, behind all of the things that I had to move out. It's over there. It's a 3-step ladder, but thankfully I have this one, and I'll go ahead and use this one over here on this side. So I'm ready, just waiting for my second hand pair of hands to come and help me. So the first thing I did was I unplugged my garage door opener from the receptacle up there, and I went ahead and made the area safe. I got my ladders positioned here, and I'm gonna get my other ladder and position it right above the spring where I need to, this thing here, I need to work with that, being ever so careful. But I got the area as clean and as safe as I could get it, considering that both my husband and I use this garage space as a workshop space, and boy, was it a lot of stuff to move out of the way. Let's jump on. So after you've done those two things, unplugged your garage motor from the receptacle, make sure your area is clean. Also disengage the track here, and all you have to do for this part is just pull down and towards you, and it removes it off of the track. I'm not sure what that is, but that you have to make sure it's disengaged. All right, let's get started. I was wondering where the this thing attached to, and I can see it here at the corner down. So it's on that bolt, so that's where that will go, and it's on the inside behind. So next you'll see that I am getting the orientation of each hardware that's holding the panels together. You want to make sure to put these in the same order that you take them down in. So just wanted to preface that. That's what you're noticing me do in the next clip. Going from the right to the left, then one, then one, then one, then three. Next one is 2 from the bottom, then 1,
So I got one of the panels off, and I'm using these huge clamps by DeWalt to hold up the garage door panel as I remove them. Just taking them off little by little, going slowly. So this is the plate that is at the ground. So there is a warning on here that, look, it's under tension, but mine was snapped. But this wheel goes to the outside, kind of like on the inside right of the track, on the inside left of the track for this one, standing on the inside of the garage. But I just wanted to show you that this is where the cable connects. Do you see that? This is where the cable connects. So it's sitting like this. It's sitting like this, and that cable is attached there. So I'm going to flip it over, and you can see it there. And the bolts are 1, 2, and then 3. Well, actually 3 right here. You can see the indentation. I don't think there may or may not have been one right here. I'll see when I reinstall. But I've got pretty much all the panels off, and garage is open again, so we'll go from there.
Wow, so that was the end of day one. When I sit here doing the voiceover for the video, I can only reflect on what all happened that day right now. So I woke up, I had the intention to do this, and I inspected the area repeatedly because I wanted to be very safe, and I wanted to work in a safe environment, and I didn't want to hurt myself. So I did a lot of background research on what all is entailed in repairing or replacing garage doors, and built my confidence by reaching out to the Parts for Garage Doors store in my area, and spoke to a person there who gave me the confidence and told me that, hey, you know what, you can do this. And so with his guidance, I was able to not only do this, but I was also able to learn a lot. I learned a lot by doing the work myself. I saved a lot of money. That day was filled with a lot. But the following day, I don't have any footage of me working earlier that day. I was very exhausted. I was tired. I was a little sore from having done that much work in one day. You got to remember, I demolition and I reinstalled the panels.
So I thought it was necessary for me to come back on and show you guys the final day of me working on this part of my garage door replacement project. So if you remember, I started off with replacing my panels, and I needed to also fix my I needed to wind the spring, the torsion spring. Yes, there was some fear and trepidation, but I was able to conquer my fears, and I was able to get my garage door fixed on my very own, yours truly, with the help of Tom Collins, is I think his name, but I will link his tutorial in the description box below. It was a learning experience that I will have for the rest of my life, more than likely. Able to change out my cords, like the cords here, like this part. I was able to do that. Probably should have been putting my finger there, right? I was also able to install all of my panels personally, yours truly. I changed all 4 of them out. That was a bit challenging, but not difficult, you know, just challenging because of the length. This is a 16-foot wide door. Also, I was able to install all of my hinges and the support hinges in the center of my door. Additionally, I changed out the lock. I do have to drill another hole here and put one of the self-tapping screws. I don't have any extra ones, so I'll just run over to the big box store and pick up a small packet of those and go ahead and install one here. So this way I can use this locking mechanism. What else? Oh yes, I did change out my rollers. The rollers that I had were the metal ones, and I changed them out to these, I don't know, I guess it's nylon rollers probably. I changed those out on all of them. There's 4 on each side, and so I was able to change those out. Whenever I did come up to an area where I couldn't get the rollers to go into the track normally, what I would do is I would open this area with my vice grips, and I would just install the roller quickly and easily. And then once all the rollers got on, I went ahead and bent this back as much as I could when the door was completely lifted. What else? Oh yes, I did have to do a lot of adjusting because this door, when I say adjusting, I mean I had to use the self-tapping screws in areas where there wasn't a hole already pre-drilled. But for the most part, like on my J-hook here, or whatever you call this part, this arm, that J-arm like that, I did have to create another hole at the bottom. And I just simply used a drill and created with a drill bit, and then I was able to easily screw that part in easily. What else? Probably the biggest, oh yeah, there was something else. And I'm sorry for the lighting here, but let me talk to you about the drums. So the drums, there is a certain way to handle the drums. But before I start there, let me finish telling you about, hold on a second. Let me finish telling you about this top one here. You'll definitely have to wind it all the way up in some instances to pop it back in about here. You can lift it, Eddie. Oh, you don't have the other part to lift it. And I'm lifting my door with one hand. I'm lifting the door with one hand, and there's absolutely no, it's not hard to do at all. Before I couldn't lift it with 2 hands and another person helping me, so nevertheless. But probably the most strenuous part was adjusting or tensioning the torsion spring, and let me show you what that looks like. And this is just me using my handle. So this part here is where all the danger exists, but if you follow the video in my description box, my goodness, you can do this. So what I had to do, since I did not replace the torsion spring, I did not replace this. My issue was completely different. I needed new panels, and I needed new cords, or I'm not sure what you call those, the wire, that tension cord that goes all the way down from the drums. Those things needed to be replaced, and I wanted to replace the rollers. So that's what my garage door issue was. When it came to working with the spring, I needed to make absolutely certain that these drums, I removed the old cords and I installed the new ones. Before I would even think about messing with the torsion spring, I went ahead and dealt with the drums and that cord. And what I did was I added the cord on there specifically as the young man describes in his video. But what you want to do is unloosen or unwind the drum and that cord first by removing this nut or loosening the nut here in these things here and then installing it. It's crazy to explain it, but you have to do that part first. At least that's what I followed. And then when I got to this one over here, actually I did this one first, and I had a vice grip holding that bar so that once I had the amount of tension on the string on the cord, I didn't have to worry about it turning or what have you. And then when it came to this thing over here, oh my goodness, I used those two 1/2 inch, 16 inches long bars and turned this thing 30 quarter turns. I made 30 adjustments, and I had to count until I got to that point. I'll talk to you guys more about that in the video, but I wanted to show you the mechanisms that I did have to adjust in order to get my door to lift again. And my next project entails me changing out this track system to this one, the belt system. So I already have that, and I'm going to start working on that probably midweek, and I'll upload a video about my experience with that. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a very awesome experience, putting myself under this type of stress, but it felt so good. All right, this is Sonia saying thank you so much for subscribing and watching. And if you want to do this, you can do this. This is not complicated. It just takes discipline and attention to detail. All right, bye.